Hi, this is Rich Kirkpatrick, author of Mind Blown. I'm talking today about the 7 brain sets that Shelley Carson, a researcher from Harvard, has written about, and I'll have her book and stuff, if you wish, in the comments. Connect is the first one of these 7. This is where we make connections in our brain. It's kind of like being in the shower, and we're making these connections between different ideas that might seem opposing, but we choose to defocus, and our mood is elevated as we find these things coming together in our mind, and that's called the Connect brain set, and that's where we defocus. Now we focus instead of defocus. And number 2, this is the reason network. This is where we have a list of things that we're putting together inside our mind. These are things that are on our mind that we organize, and we make our list from that, for instance. The 3rd is envision. This is a brain set where we're like a filmmaker, where we think visually as opposed to verbally. We're using pictures and metaphors to try to tell a story, just like a filmmaker does. The 4th of these is absorb. This is like being a sponge. This is where we have a non-judgmental mind. This is where we open our mind to new things. And so in the absorb network, this is where you use curiosity. 5 is transform. This is where we leverage our bad moods, and we transform ourselves from dissatisfaction, our negativity, into actually creating something. On one hand, we feel painfully vulnerable. On the other hand, we feel compelled and ready to express ourselves. The 6th one of these is at some point we need to make judgment and actually edit things. This is what I call, or she calls, the evaluate brain set. And the evaluate brain set is where we just take a piece of what we're creating and we break it down and we critique it and we make it better, and we're working on details at this point, not necessarily big ideas. And the final one of these things is the stream. We know this as the flow, is a very popular expression for what this is. But the jazz musician, as he's in that flow, a computer programmer who's coding and never even takes a sip of water for 3 hours, this is those moments where things and time seems to get lost. So those are the 7 brain sets. There's connect, reason, envision, absorb, transform, evaluate, and stream. Next week, I'm going to talk about some practices where we can grow each one of these things. Till then, keep creating.